Good evening and welcome to tonight's show. I'm Hugh Riches. On the show tonight, we meet the gold-winning embroidery tutor, and my guest is Alex Baxter, Mayor of North East Lincolnshire, here to talk about Armed Forces Day. But first, it's over to James for the news roundup.
Hello, in the headlines today, landlords worry they'll lose out when universal credit comes into force, and a celebration of fishing heritage comes to town. A parish councillor made strong allegations against his own council as controversy surrounding a local clerk took a new twist this week. Clerk Kathy Pears was suspended from Healing Parish Council after an external auditor raised concerns about her record keeping with Greatcoats Parish Council. Mrs Pears has denied the allegations. Healing met this week to discuss appointing their own external auditor and the possibility of appointing an interim clerk. But during the meeting, Councillor Mike Clark said he was disgusted with their actions. He said he's launched a formal complaint as the council is not following procedure. It was up to the council to decide if this complaint was valid, he said, and should be referred to the Standards Board. But the council refused to discuss the issue as it was not an agenda item. Local landlords believe that universal credit will mean landlords lose out and will cause unnecessary worry for tenants. The new benefit will replace 6 others, including housing benefit and job seekers allowance, giving people more control over their budgets. But Tony Williamson from Humber Landlords Association's South Bank worries tenants with no experience in budgeting will spend the money before paying their rent. A system has been put in place so that the housing benefit part of the benefit can be paid directly to landlords, but unless the tenant volunteers, they have to be in rent arrears before this can be put into force. But Mr Williamson believes that many will volunteer as they don't want to worry about becoming homeless.
So at the beginning of the month, you're given a £1,000 cheque, right? In many, many cases, the last person to get a bite of that £1,000, if you like, is going to be the landlord. Oh, let's go off to Lanzarote. Now, little Johnny wants the super-duper top market trainers, and Mary wants a little laptop, and so it goes on. And the priorities are all changed. Most tenants do not want to handle their own housing benefit. Most of them are frightened to lose the property. And a lot of tenants think that if they don't pay 1 week or 1 month's rent, the landlord will kick them out.
Work has now started on an outdoor games area in Immingham. The area is at Oasis Academy on Pelham Road and can be used by students and members of the community for games like five-a-side football and netball. It's been funded with £150,000 from the developers of the nearby Kennedy Way shopping centre, which was part of the planning agreement. Antisocial behaviour has dropped by 82% since a special dispersal order was imposed in an area of Scunthorpe being terrorised by local youths. Police became aware of an escalating problem in East Common Lane, Lilac Avenue, in January 2013 as residents reported offences including arson, minor assaults and riding motorbikes illegally. But in November they signed an order allowing them to break up and move any groups of more than 2 people who are likely to cause intimidation, harassment or alarm. Councillor Carl Sherwood, Cabinet Member for Customer Services and Support at North Lincolnshire Council, says people now say they feel safer. A celebration of the herring industry, which bound together communities on the East Coast, has now been opened. Anne Coburn's play Get Up and Tie Your Fingers is now showing at Hull Truck Theatre, inspired by the girls who followed the herring fleets gutting and barrelling the fish. It also comes to Grimsby Minster next week from the 26th to the 28th. The play is part of a wider exhibition at Hull's Holy Trinity Church in the marketplace, exploring the fishing industry through knitted items. There will be a full knitted replica of a fishing boat, as well as hundreds of knitted herrings sent by knitters worldwide.
Grimsby was one of the most important ports that was part of this herring fleet, with our heritage. So that's why they've asked if they can come and use us as a port of call.
Oh, it's a big job, there's lots of work to do. We've had to deal with lots of different groups and people to work with. And it's like the group today, we've been here with the Wellergate traders and they've been supporting us by knitting the fish that will be put into the exhibition, which will be in the Minster along with a full-size boat.
That's all from me. Bye for now.
A teacher of textiles has been given an award for her talents. Jan Dowson, who teaches adult learners in Cleethorpes, has found herself at Buckingham Palace. Emma Lingard went to meet her.
A nomination from her learners led to textile artist Jan Dowson getting a City and Guilds gold medal, which led to a ceremony at Buckingham Palace for an award from the Worshipful Company of Broderers.
You sort of had to pinch yourself that you were there, really. But it was also really inspiring because some of the young people that I met there were just amazing. You know, master saddle makers, stone carvers, and they'd reached the peak of their own particular craft at an early age, really, and had, you know, achieved some incredible things. So it was just an honour to be there with you know, such incredible people.
Embroidery has taken over Jan's life as there's much preparation to do for the classes she puts on. 20 years ago, she herself was a student of the art form.
I do remember being a learner and walking into a classroom for the first time, and I understand how learners feel. And if they haven't been in education for a long time, they can be very nervous, and time again they say, I'm not really that creative and I won't be able to draw and I won't be able to do this, but actually they can, because if they're interested, they've obviously interested enough to come through the door, and really it's my job then to facilitate their learning and to be able to show them the skills and make them feel at home. And I think that's the most important thing, that they feel happy and safe in the environment and surrounded by lots of inspiration.
To slightly misquote Jean-Jacques Rousseau, all mayors are born free, but everywhere they are in chains. The new mayor of North East Lincolnshire is Alex Baxter, who enjoyed a 20 career in the Royal Navy and is well known in the borough for his work with the services. He joins me now to talk about this year's Armed Forces Day. Mr. Mayor, welcome. Thank you for coming on.
You are very welcome. I'm thoroughly pleased to be here.
Armed Forces Day, it's on the 28th of June. Will you tell us a little bit about what's happening?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, it's 2 days this year, 28th of June, which is the Armed Forces Day per se, and the 29th of June, which is a Forces Families Day, where we try to get civil-military integration. That is, the children of ex-servicemen and of servicemen and those from the borough to get together and have some fun on the second day at Meridian Park. However, Armed Forces Day itself is a fairly lengthy process. It starts very, very early in the morning, right, probably about 4:30 when everybody's up and about. And
that'll require military discipline.
Well, I wouldn't say it's military discipline. It's basically embedded in the people who generally are volunteers who are ex-military, so they tend to know the score and really don't need a lot of discipline. They probably just naturally know what they ought to do. And when you sort of mobilize them, for want of a better description, we tend to turn them out. Everybody comes round and basically we're lining up the streets. We're making sure everybody's in the right place. And we're sorting out Pier Gardens, the Lower Kingsway. And of course the event itself is held in Cleethorpes, not because it's the only place we want to have Armed Forces Day in the borough, is because it's the best place to hold it, as it's a natural resort and it's laid out so well that we really don't have to do very much, and it's extremely safe for such as flying displays, getting naval contingents into place, and of course friends from the Royal Air Force who can fly around and not have to bump into anything. Not that they would, of course, but of course we always have a sense of humour. It's inter-service rivalry, personally.
Well, and you're a Royal Navy man, of course.
Absolutely, yes. I spent about 20 years of what people might say is wasted time, although I've got to say I enjoyed thoroughly every minute of my service life.
Not wasting time if it's defending the realm. I mean, but
oh,
the whole
absolutely.
point of this day is it's rather important work. It's
absolutely important work. I mean, I started off as a naval communicator. I went round the world when it was join the Navy and see the world, and it was sun and fun. And of course, the bit they didn't actually mention was what they loosely described as police actions. I think they're probably referred to as hostile engagements or wars nowadays. So that took about 10 years of my life. And again, I've got to say that service is so well organised that it's a pretty safe occupation, despite some of the incidents that you may actually run into during your career, sir.
Well, you've seen some action. You've been a serviceman yourself. What are those events? You alluded to the RAF. You alluded to fly pasts and things like that. What will be happening on the day?
What will happen? I mean, the day itself starts with service charities providing information to veterans and to service families, and of course to the general public. They will be laid out in Pier Gardens, which is in Cleethorpes seafront. And from there they can get all of the information they require in order that they may have any questions for servicemen who may have been injured in a previous time, or indeed who simply just want to talk about housing, or they want to talk about welfare benefits, want to talk about indeed anything that may affect their day-to-day life. However, there are also cadet units down there and other people from various regiments, Royal Anglian Regiment and from the Royal Navy, who will be pleased to assist and tell you all about their service, their life, and if somebody by the by wishes to join them, then I'm sure they can give them all the appropriate information. But the show itself, and I will loosely call it a show because it is really, really a fun day, starts about 11:45. That will be by the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, and there will be fly past by the, obviously the Spitfire, the Hurricane and the Lancaster, who will do 3 flyovers. They're coming so early this year because they have to go to Stirling for the National Armed Forces Day north of the border. It takes them some time to fly up there, refuel and then do their duty with the Prime Minister. Of course, we're second in the queue, so we have to accept that. However, at 2 o'clock, we line up for our own parade when everybody will march down St Peter's Avenue through Marketplace, and then there will be dramatic impact as they come up Alexandra Road to the Remembrance Gate at the Knoll.
And at dusk, or as the sun goes down, there's going to be a particular
wow,
show.
yes. This is the first year we've done this, and we get quite excited about it because we thought, why not recognise the First World War, and particularly the relevance of the Chums battalions. And there were 1,000 of them in a battalion, and what we're going to do is try and have 1,000 torches so that the public and ex-service people can recognise their significance of the Chums volunteer battalions, and of course their sacrifices. And to that end, we're going to have 500 people down at the North Pier, another 5 at the Leisure Centre, and we will bring them together with lit torches up to Ross Castle, where there will be a spectacular firework display to really, really thunderous music. My apologies to the neighbours if they can bear with us for about an hour whilst we make a lot of noise, and then we'll obviously end the day with Land and Hope and Glory, and we should really, really be pleased that this will be a spectacular day throughout. There's entertainment for the whole 24 hours.
You mentioned the Chums Brigade there, and this region's contributions to old conflicts earlier in the 20th century and the 19th century. But there are more recent conflicts, and you're raising some money for people who may have suffered in those as well.
Absolutely. There are agencies such as Combat Stress, there are Help for Heroes, and others who spend an awful lot of time supporting areas where servicemen and servicewomen who have been injured in action actually need some assistance, because some of the psychological trauma involved with these things takes an awful lot of time to repair, and I think it's right and proper that we assist in these matters.
Alex Baxter, thank you very much for coming.
You are more than welcome.
Very important event.
Thank you.
That's all from us for this time, I'm afraid. Join us tomorrow when we're in Hull to meet actress Barbara Martin, star of Get Up and Tie Your Fingers, about herring girls. If you have any stories, please email us at estuary.tv or contact us via our Twitter or Facebook pages, or pick up the phone and call us on 01472 315561. Until tomorrow, goodbye.